Hi everybody, Jeff Geisinger here with another episode of Jeff Asks the Question. So I've got my good friend Steve Ruprecht back. He's agreed to do this another time. What I'm going to talk to him about today is I've had clients where they want to buy a house, but they already have a mortgage. And with the craziness, with the low inventory we're dealing with right now in the Twin Cities, really all across the nation, it's really difficult to put your house on the market for fear that you're not going to find that right house for your move up, move down house, for the different area that you're looking for. So Steve's going to answer some questions about how to be able to qualify for a new house while you still have a mortgage. So Steve, have you dealt with this?
Dealing with it every day, it seems like.
Okay. Is there any good opportunities for people to still be able to qualify for two mortgages? Ideally not for the long term, as short a term as possible, but I've heard about different programs, gap loans, bridge loans, hopscotch loans. I might be making up some of those words. What have you seen?
There are options for that. A lot of realtors are trying to, speak with their clients about trying to buy before they sell, because it just makes it really difficult if you're trying to go in with a contingency right now. Listing agents are looking kind of frowning down on that.
I've noticed that contingent offers don't seem to get accepted. They still do happen, but if in a multiple offer situation, those contingencies kind of find themselves at the bottom of the pile.
Yes. So a lot of times what we'll do is look at the strength of the buyer, and if they're a strong buyer with good income, where they can actually qualify holding their existing home and still being able to purchase, they'll consider doing that, knowing that the market's hot enough that they can get into that new house and then sell theirs very quickly after they've bought that new one.
That's where I come in to sell your house too. So what does it take, you say, to qualify? What does it take for someone to qualify for owning and purchasing at the same time?
You've got to have fairly strong income, probably not a lot of debt. We've got to make sure we can qualify with both that new house payment and that existing house, plus any other debts. So if they have student loans, autos, credit cards. So it puts a little bit of strain on the qualifying. We look at the ratios for qualifying. It's called debt to income. And if you've got a strong buyer, good credit, we can get that to approve in the 40s as far as percentage. So 40% of their debt load, which would be the new house, the existing house, the autos, the student loans, as long as we're in the 40s, the system should approve.
Now, 40% for just the two mortgages, or all debt in that 40%?
That would be all debt.
Oh.
Yes. And again, it's kind of pushing the limit a little bit. A lot of buyers maybe aren't comfortable with that long term, but hopefully it's a short-term solution where that current house, with how strong the market is, would sell quickly, and they'd reduce that burden and that payment because the house would sell.
So what does it take after you've qualified, and usually people use their proceeds from their home sale as the down payment. Do you know of any programs to help people with those down payments?
Right, and that's a good point. So in a traditional market, when they sell, they not only release that payment, but they also have their equity from sale, and they're usually taking that into the new purchase. In this case, they wouldn't have that. So other options are, sometimes people will have a home equity line of credit. They call it a HELOC, that may be attached to that existing house. They can draw on that. That's a secured asset. And then once that house is sold, it would be paid off. One of the best options is a 401k loan. Very common. A lot of people don't understand or don't realize they can do this. And a lot of people get a little leery when it's like, wait, that's for retirement. But it's not liquidating it. You're just taking a loan against it. And by doing that, we don't have to count a repayment on that loan, and it's quick and easy to get access to those funds, and you can use those short term for your down payment.
Very cool. No, I didn't know about that you can actually not take money out of your investment of a 401k, but use it as collateral?
You're technically taking it out. Well, you're loaning it against. So you do have a repayment period, but that repayment period is going to be short-lived, because once the house sells, you'll have the proceeds from that sale to then pay it back.
Wonderful. And now one thing too, I think a lot of people forget is that when you do buy a new house and get that new mortgage, your first mortgage payment isn't actually the first day. It's the next month that you pay that first month. So if we can time everything right, you technically wouldn't necessarily even have two mortgage payments. You could do your last mortgage payment on your current house and then the next month start the payments on your new house if we can time it right, of course.
Yep, great point. That is absolutely correct. And with how quickly homes are selling, that has shown that it's worked out for a lot of people.
Any other words of advice for someone who is looking to get that loan on a secondary mortgage for ideally the short term?
The only other big question that does come up occasionally is depending on where they're taking those funds for down. Sometimes they've got, say, $200,000 to put down. If they had their house sold, in this case they only have, let's say it was a 401k of 50. They're stuck with this higher payment on the new house because they're putting less down. And what we can do, actually, after it's closed, they sell their house, they've got this big chunk of money, say it's another 150, 200, they can lump sum that down on the new mortgage and ask for a principal curtailment, which would re-amortize that loan back down to a lower payment, which is attractive.
That's a lot of fancy words. I'm guessing that what you're saying is, that you still have the same time period of 30 or 15 years, but because the principal, the big amount owed is less, that means that each individual payment gets lowered?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Well, thanks, Steve. That is some great information. So Steve is here and available for questions to give some more insight on what it would take to be able to qualify for a mortgage while you still own your current home. And that's something that's really important with the market right now, where that perfect house is only on the market a very short amount of time. Be able to buy that house and then worry about selling your house later with me. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.